say it's doing the opposite, citing escalating tensions in the city of Angels. Right now, we're going to check in with Fox News' Ted Linder as he gives us a closer look at the damage and demonstrations.
Fires continued burning overnight across the streets of downtown Los Angeles as unrest over recent Trump administration crackdowns on immigration surged over the weekend.
This violence that I've seen is disgusting.
Protests first erupted on Friday after dozens of immigrants in the area were detained. Those demonstrations caused President Donald Trump to deploy the National Guard, citing failures from local officials to squash the gatherings.
You have violent people, and we're not going to let them get away with it.
The city's police chief said at least 39 people were arrested since Saturday, describing tactics some people use to harm officers.
We had individuals out there shooting commercial-grade fireworks at our officers. That can kill you. They have a hammer, and they'll break up the cinder block and use that, pass it around to throw at officers, to throw at cars.
National Guard troops first arrived on Sunday, a move Governor Gavin Newsom called unlawful. In a post to X, Newsom added, quote, President Trump is escalating the situation by threatening to deploy roughly 500 active duty Marines to the streets of Los Angeles. This marks the first time since 1965 that a president deployed a state's National Guard without a request from the state's governor. Meanwhile, got further north Sunday in San Francisco. Ted Linder, Fox News.
All right, Ted, thank you so much for the detailed report and a lot to discuss and dissect this morning. So we want to bring into the conversation none other than distinguished lecturer in terrorism and homeland security with the University of New Haven, Ken Gray. Ken, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us this Monday morning.
Good morning, Janae. Glad to be with you again.
So, Ken, we've seen for the past 3 days how things have escalated out in LA County. For those unfamiliar with the events and the destruction we've seen in real time, could you catch us up?
Sure. So ICE has been doing operations around the country, but here in LA, with a series of arrests on Friday, this started protests which have evolved into, in some areas, riots. The 101 freeway was shut down yesterday with protesters out in the middle of the freeway itself. You see the destruction of vehicles in the area, a couple of Waymo, these are the robo taxis, were set on fire there in LA. And you've heard the police chief just in LA police chief say that commercial grade fireworks are being fired at law enforcement in the area. So this has really grown to be quite a protest against ICE operations. But as I said, ICE operations have been going on around the country and will continue to go on around the country as we attempt to get back in control of who is in this country and who is in this country illegally. And so I think that you are seeing some cities siding with the protesters against the federal government in their operations and their desire to remove illegal aliens from the United States.
And it's been very interesting as we've looked over the past few days, recent hours, early this morning, as we were checking in live with our content partners over at Fox 11 LA with their broadcast, seeing how the verbiage has changed. At first, it was anti-ICE protesters. Now that verbiage has changed to rioters and even looters. And for many people, it takes them back in time to what we saw on those college campuses and universities as it relates to those Gaza war protests. Obviously, very different focal points and very different aggressions, very different reasoning for why those protests were happening. But nevertheless, many people putting that side by side simply because some of the people that were out there weren't out there to actually protest anti-ICE demonstrations. They were out there just to cause chaos.
Yes, absolutely. So I would not only link this to the pro-Hamas, anti-Israeli demonstrations going on college campuses, I would also further equate this to BLM activity in the aftermath of George Floyd. That is, you see a coordinated, well-funded response to government activities, and that these anti-government activities that are well funded seem to be funded by groups on the left. Churla, for instance, the Coalition for Humane Immigration Rights in LA, Churla, they've received government funds both from the state of California and some federal funds to support their activities. They are one of the coordinating bodies for the protests going on there in LA. So this is not just organic, all of a sudden growing because of the activities of ICE that people are coming out on the street protesting. Some of that is happening, but there is also a coordination of protesters. I would not be surprised if you unmask some of the people who are on the streets. You would find the same people.
Smacks, what's good?
What it is, what it is.
They made more people than I don't know why the screen look like that at the bottom, but it's good. What's up? What's up? What's happening?
What it is, man. We're all dope podcast. We in the building.
We in the building, man. Hey, you know me, man. I gotta get on the road, so I'm not gonna hold the people up long at all. I might go. Yeah, I gotta get on the road. I gotta get on the road. I ain't gonna hold the people up very long at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. But one second. It's somebody from Arizona. Hello. Yes. It's great.
Yeah, man, we in the building. We got a lot of topics, a lot of crazy stuff to catch y'all up on. As y'all know, the LA riots, the ICE riots is going crazy. How many people we got? We got 5 people in the chat, man. Drop how y'all feel about them LA riots. I know it ain't the original LA riots that we grown to know, but the LA riots is happening because of ICE. But we're gonna get back into that a little later. We got a lot of good topics to get into with y'all.
Yeah. Thank you for covering me for me, Spaz. Yeah, the LA riots. That's what you know. Oh, yes. We back in the building with another vlog, podcast vlog, whatever you want to call it. This is RDP, aka Rodo Podcast Vlog. I'm your host, Sam 5000. Tapping in with my producer, Third World, Distinguished Eyes. Spaz Money in the building, man. Hey, congratulations, man, for being a college graduate. We always gotta salute that, man. You know what I'm saying? Clark and Liner stand up. But yeah, man, we getting into the riots. And I know you're a college guy, so that's kind of like why I wanted to do this with you, right? I'm gonna keep it real with you. It's a lot going on with the LA riots, and I really want to cover that because I think the headline on my joint was "This not our fight," and what I mean by this is not our fight, I mean people of color. So I should surely hope that the people of color is not out there doing nothing to get themselves caught up in that. And not saying no disrespect to no other culture. No, I'm not on that at all. What I'm saying is when it's time for us to fight and we fight for what's going on, they don't fight. And like I said, a lot of us, we come up in the neighborhood, we love the Latinos. We do 100%, but just it's not our fight. Some things you got to stand down from. You know what I mean? Some things you got to stand down from. You know what I mean? We can't be taking people matters into our own hands and get caught all up in the rapture. You know what I mean? That's it. I can't lie to you. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. I mean, I feel like we'd be crazy to say we don't get support from Mexicans and other cultures, but at the end of the day, it's at the end of the day when it's that day, it's us versus them, and at the end of the day, nobody gonna fight for us like we fight for us. So I feel like I agree with you. I 100% agree with you because we should support people how they support us. And that's basically what you're saying. If people not fighting for us, we still a minority in this country. We still, you feel what I'm saying? So it's like why jeopardize our up climb for people not jeopardizing. And I'm glad you said that because that's kind of similar to what I heard Gotti say when he was asked about the Young Thug and Gunna situation. Pretty much, he said he not getting into that because he said one thing he learned about growing up from OGs and stuff like that is to never get in the middle of family business. You feel me? Never get in the middle of two men arguing. First of all, second, never get in the middle of family business. Because he said he could jump out there and say gunna a rat, this, that, and the third, and then Thug could go against the tables could turn is what he said. Thug could go against him one day, and then you feel what I'm saying, blah blah blah. So pretty much, I feel like that's a good point you made. That's a great point you made. You don't want to jump out there for somebody and not have your back covered because that could put you in the crossfire.
I just think my point I'm making is, our culture march and fight, and then you have some people, of all cultures stood up, well, for black people. We're not gonna be afraid to say the word, and it's no problem with that, and we commend them, and we will stand up. We'll fight for anybody that we believe in, people of color. You know what I'm saying? We'll fight for anybody. You know what I'm saying? We stand up. We don't get treated. Other cultures don't get treated away when they move in our communities. We get treated away when we move in other cultures' communities, and that's a fact. Though.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? That's a real fact, though.
Sure.
So,
I
so I just feel like, yo, don't be out there rioting and getting involved in that because our riots, I don't think they, went hard, for us. You know what I mean? You could be supportive and say more power to the people. Like they say that, and we could say it's wrong, but it's not. It's just not our fight. And because we have an ongoing fight that's been going for hundreds of years that we fighting here. So it's like, yo, we can't really be standing up for nobody because, you know what I mean? We the ops too. But it's like, no, we ain't going against them because they running around and grabbing us. They've been grabbing us, putting us in prison, doing things, projects filled with lead. If we've been going through hella shit, and we not saying nobody else ain't been going through it, but don't nobody hear our cry when we really hurting. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, nah, you know what I mean? It's out there, you see a hurt person, hey, give them aid. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what I'm saying? You fuck with them, you know what I'm saying? Dudes got babies and things happen. Aid them, support. I'm being honest. My neighbors are Latinos. I have nothing but love and respect for them. Their kids and everything. They're beautiful people. I'm not a bad. I don't think that what's going on with ICE and the whole situation. I don't think is right. But hey, who am I? Because it's 50 things that's going on in my culture that ain't right. So this one big thing that this president want to do, you know what I'm saying? That's, I'm not saying that's on them. That's the people, but it make me worry because I be like, I hope the people ain't out there doing nothing or jumping out there. Keeping it the G News. What's good, my brother? I just hope the people ain't jumping out there and, because I just hope we not. I just hope black people out in LA not jumping in the middle of that. Let they had a fight, bro. We don't got nothing to do with that. That's how I feel. We just don't have nothing to do with it because our cultures has been on the line and going through hell right now as we speak. You know what I mean? Our joint ain't no joke. You feel me? And I'm not saying what's happening to them is right. I think it's wrong. I think those people that's here legally and here the right way should not be bothered. I don't think they should be doing massive raids. I should think they should have an operator of people that they're targeting. I feel like whoever they're targeting. And if you broke the law, and most of those people are already behind bars, if you want to say, oh, you've been convicted of a felon in the last 7 years, you gotta get out. Okay, it's a probable channel, but innocent people and bringing up trumped up cases against them is wrong. But hey, we've been getting kicked out of communities and been getting kicked out for years. People from Jamaica, it wasn't a big difference when Jamaicans was coming over here illegal. See, let me cook. It was Jamaicans and Trinidad and all these good people coming over here from the Barbados. People of our culture was coming over, been getting deported. They get convicted. All I ever heard was about Jamaicans. Hey, they got deported. They broke the law, found them guilty. They got deported. So it wasn't no big thing. You know what I mean? Then they be like, yo, he gonna come back over here. I know Jamaicans and Trinidadians that came back 3 or 4 times, but I get it. But they wasn't causing, it wasn't no big national war about this. You know what I mean? When they went back to get us and take the motherfucking African dudes from Nigeria that was bringing that work over here, when they took them back, wasn't no big things. They accepted it. That's the thing. Our culture accepted it. The dudes from Trinidad, Jamaica, the Virgin Islands. You get what I'm saying? Black, they accepted the Arabs. Yeah, y'all knock us off. We go back to our country and live. You know what I'm saying? The Latinos, you know what I mean, yearn for this. You know what I mean? They come here and they make a good life, but their situation's getting blown. It's just getting blown up. And I'm like, man, black people getting deported for years. You know what I mean? They've been getting the black people getting deported for years. That's what I'm saying. Nobody talks like that. We think it. You get convicted, black man from the islands get convicted, he go back home and he fights his way over here. You know what I mean? So, and these dudes are coming here legally. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that God, I believe that service to humanity is the best work of life. I believe in God. I'm Muslim. I believe in God, man. God's the creator of everything. But also I say black people. If them people will rise with us on the George Floyd tip and all the tips we've been on, then we rise with them. But don't get involved in them people mess against the government because nobody, no other culture came along with us to fight against the government when they know we've been treated injustice my whole existence and beyond. You understand what I'm saying? We've been getting treated injustice, and hey, we all we do is march. They fighting. You know what I'm saying? But that's their fight. They're fighting against Trump administration. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have that problems with everybody else. But that's their fight. That was my whole thing. Like, hey, if you out there, hey, good looking, bro. I appreciate that, man. Say with a super chat 199. Really appreciate that, bro. Super
Sure,
chat.
that's love,
That's real love.
love, bro.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Came with chat, man. But that's just how I feel. So, that's why I open up. LA Riots not our fight. LA Riots is not our fight. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not our fight. You know what I'm saying? Hey, hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. You want to donate to the channel? That go to Cash App right there. $1.50, whatever, man. Give me the Netflix money before Netflix take it off your card. Your Spotify, your Apple money, whatever you want to do, just donate to the channel if you like what you hear. So I just feel like that ain't our fight. It's going down there. They covering it. It's on every news. Donald Trump sends the National Guard out there. They're not. LA is a lot of money getting made out of LA. So I don't know. But before we get it, then what's up with Ray J, man? Lying on his wood.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ray J. I didn't want to put that in there. I would say that for later on, but Ray J lying on his wood, man. I can't, and admitted it. Cause he's doing screaming now.
yeah, he admitted it. He's trying to get the clicks and get his clickbaits up, but yeah, he put it on God. He put it on his dead homies that he slept with Sexy Red. She came out and said it was cat, and she was dead ass serious. She said stop lying on his penis, bro. She didn't like that. She wasn't very appreciative of that. And yeah, he came out and admitted that it was a lie. But I felt like I read through the lie when I first saw the video because you could tell he words is powerful, bro. So he said I slept with Sexy Red. He didn't.
Yeah.
I slept with Sexy Red, which could mean so many different things. It could mean he literally slept next to her in a bed. It could mean he slept with her on a plane, which is actually the story. The story is they, I guess, took the same plane and it was long enough for niggas to go to sleep. So they went to sleep, but it wasn't nothing sexual. So I don't know, bro. That's some Ray J activity, bro. I mean, that's his career built off of gimmicks and stuff like that. And it's 2025. Gimmicks win. Gimmicks win. Keep It the G said they got to fight for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. AG, that's what I was just looking something up. Yeah, that's what I say. They got to fight for themselves. It just ain't our battle. I don't want, black people tend to, get taken up for people and we get to overdoing it. That's our character, our national, we natural people that care. Like, man, that's wrong. Don't do that to them people. But man, it's been done to us for years, our women, our children for years. So I'm like, hey, y'all can feel away. Y'all supposed to feel away. Service to humanity is the best work of life. Humanity is one of the beautifulest things Allah created, bro. So we love people. We love the animals. We love the fruits and veggies. We love a lot of things that God gave us. But one thing that we can't do is mind other people business. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying nothing else. I'm saying, yo, if you want to hand them a rock or something in Outback, or you want to hand them, what I mean? Somebody hurt, you give them, Band-Aid or something. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You get what I'm saying? Hey, hey, boy, you had to get somebody a ride. They say them people on your ass. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, it's been my neighbor for years, man. Them people bothering them, man. I gave him a ride to the bus station. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying getting out there throwing rocks and getting involved in that, nah. Because ain't nobody gonna do that for us, and that's when I stand on that. Then you can have love, and then some black dudes got babies and all that, but it's cool. Protect yours. If you in the family, you rolling with, protect yours. But I'm saying don't jump out there in that civil war that's being created over there in LA. 'Cause that's gonna spill out to many cities. A lot of shit. What I do believe that is crazy about the whole ICE situation is that they're bothering people that shouldn't be bothered. You know what I mean? I feel like that. But my whole life, what up, Porch Prophet? Make sure y'all tapping into Keeping the G News. Make sure y'all follow Third World. Make sure y'all follow Porch Prophet TV, man. Porch Prophet TV, man, gonna be real lit this fall, man. We gonna do an AFC North podcast, meaning we gonna cover the Ravens, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. That's we gonna be known for the North boys. If y'all want to become a part of the North flock, hit me up. The North Flock. It's never been done before. Don't try to take it as already copywritten. The North Flock. That means that we believe in the AFC North and we just covering all the games in the North. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I just don't feel like we should get involved with that. The Mexicans, they fighting, from different countries. And it's not the because it's not the Latino community that I think they heavily targeted. I think they're targeting more like the people from El Salvador, Mexico, Honduras. Seem like the more problem. They're not really, I don't see them, Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and stuff like that. But again, it's none of my business. It's not no content that I'm gonna build off of. But my message is to the people is that that's not our war. A lot of people don't jump up and jump out there for us. And ain't nothing wrong with them not jumping out there for us because hey, you got to protect your culture right now. And it's just that you don't handle that. But if you got friends of that culture, like I do have friends, my neighbor, it's nothing wrong with showing love and support with them as they battle. That's the same thing they did with us when George Floyd and black leaders died. They say, man, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Y'all keep fighting, more power to the people. Let me know if you need something. That's right there by your house. That ain't out there in that war. So, we got to be the same way. So, this guy named DJU, I want to get back into that ride stuff, but I got a place to say, no, I got to get into DJU. So, this is what. This is one of the things. Shout out to Keeping It a G because he posted on it. But this is one thing I want to say to content creators. All right, content creators, this is a message for you. Man, you are not a rapper, right? You're not a rapper. And if you creating content, you're not in the streets no more, right? It is billions of dollars creating content. The most valuable thing in life that the homies gotta understand and people that's doing this content, the most valuable thing in life and your ticket and your success story is being the number one thing in the world, somebody important. And in order to be somebody important that everybody wants to be somebody important, you have to do the number one thing to being somebody important, and that's being yourself. That's being yourself. And once you learn how to be yourself, you know the questions that you can ask men and women. You know the content that you can put out about men and women. And the same thing that you put out is the energy that you get back. Now, when you talk this gangster stuff and you're reporting false information, you lying on dudes, you igging on beefs, one day you got to meet somebody or you run across dudes. So the DJU situation is one of them kids that's with NBA young boy. You correct me if I'm wrong, Spaz. Went on his show.
Yeah.
Then he went on his show and he started telling them things that is one of the most humiliating things. If you come from where I come from, telling a man to grab your pants, and after you tell a man to do that, you're saying that's your woman. Where I come from, you saying that's your woman. You saying that you are a bitch on your platform. Now, do I want to say that content is what you wanted? Is this a WWE hip hop moment? Or was that the real thing?
Right. It
I'm
looked real.
actually
It
I'm gonna
looked.
go to some guys that's talking about it, some clips of it, but
I
how
watched.
you feel?
Yo, it looked like it was real, and it's a it's a trigger though. I feel like as
Yes,
a
man, yes.
content creator, as a journalist,
Hold up, go ahead, I'm listening.
you should know how to talk. You should know what trigger words. You should know how to trigger your guests in positive or negative ways. You feel what I'm
Right,
saying? And like they say, all publicity is truly. I mean, all publicity is good publicity. You feel me? It's truly good publicity. So what I'm saying is, he knew what to say to press that man buttons, and
right,
he got what he wanted, a viral clip, and that's really what the content and journalism is about in 2025. Getting them viral clips is going to push your channel high. A lot of people don't. A lot of people like to stay true to themselves, but
right.
DJ, you somebody who loves the gimmick. So yeah, I think it's true, but just like reality TV shows, a lot of that shit is true, but a lot of that shit, I mean, it's
What?
it's
So when you do that, you ain't a man to me. Like, and if you're doing it for clickbait, all right, I can't take you serious.
right.
I can't take you serious, bro, because I'm saying nobody not playing with me, choking me out, or doing nothing to me like that with the cameras rolling, so I could do viral moments. Hell no, bro. Cause as quick as you going viral, as quick as somebody else gonna pull that. Now you to put your hand on my hip, man. You understand what I'm saying? Now you to put your hand when you see DJ, you man, put your hand on my hip, man. That's what you been doing. Yeah, Trey kill Treyway. But I'm about to play the clip.
That make me Chewy fall. So yeah, bro. I mean, like town Chicago based. Like, obviously, I am.
Actually, what?
King Von's former DJ. You know what I'm saying?
That's how you talk to
Hey, look, show him something.
What's this?
Hey, nigga, that's that shit. That motherfucking nigga, how Chicago come to that motherfucking rank and take over, nigga. Hold this, nigga. What the fuck, nigga? Talk to me. Your life, hey, holding this, nigga. Hold your life, man. Hold this. Hey, yo, he made that nigga hold his pocket. I have no doubt. Could have ran up in DJU. Told that man, oh, listen, that man held his hand out. I have to say, oh, what, your life? This your boy Big Keys. Keys against the world. We just saw Lil Bill.
Shorty press this man. I gotta look at it again, bro. Now, with that being said, man, now I don't think that's clickbait. I don't think that's no clickbait, man. That's disrespect. Slap all man, it ain't down on you, man. Man, it's NBA young boy. Then young boy got the alleged dirty old thing going on. So you gonna go holler at niggas, men die, over that beef. That beef started with young. See, dudes forget about that. That beef started with young boy and Dirt having words. So what the fuck would you think? You from Chicago, regardless of you like Dirt in them or not. Regardless if you like Dirt in them or not, why you so thirsty for these other niggas to play with you? You feel what I'm saying? Now, nigga, dude playing with you. I'm come out there, wherever he was at, man. He told me how I'm doing dudes in the shop. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, and to get deep, but DJU is actually King Von former DJ, so he actually tied to them in some form of way. So I guess that's what make him feel like he can jump out there like that.
Man, he took it down. DJU is not up here. I want to see DJU version. It's not up here, Jack. I want to take that down. That's what I'm saying. Boy, he did that for no clickbait. Boy, he did that. I'm on his channel. That boy ain't do that for no clickbait. ain't no clickbait on DJU, and DJU ain't even got that joint up there. Button all them niggas up there. Where's this new stuff at? DJU get linked all on. Is he viral already? Got his viral moment. Shorty linked all on. Wasn't laughing even. I can't find it. I just found one dude because everybody else leaning on him. Hey, Tara D Dub tries to make DJU take a slam flag and fails. Oh, he's saying it failed. But that's on my. Let me see what these guys. Let's see what G and them talk about, man. I need to see clips. I need to see clips, bro. Where's the clips at? Yo, just leans on this boy. I need to see clips.
That's terrible.
Let's come in. What's this?
I ain't gonna come to take over, nigga. Oh, listen.
Oh, what? Yo, life.
Hey, holding this. Man, hold this flag, nigga. Hold this flag.
Bro.
Hold this flag.
That's the interview, brother.
Bro.
Interview.
Hey, Matthew, nigga.
Hey, what's the interview, brother? Look at that.
DJU.
Hey.
What? I know you love to ask for questions. You love viral content, and I'm a big supporter of you. I'm a big fan of you. Why would you ask NBA YoungBoy top shotter D-Dog a question about Chicago or King Von, bro? Don't you know, bro, that D-Dog, bro, is NBA YoungBoy's top shotter? If NBA YoungBoy tell that man to go through a wall, that man will have drywall dust covered from top to bottom. That man eat, sleep, and breathe NBA YoungBoy, bro.
D-Dog, bro, reacted like that because he tired of everybody making it seem like that YB them is scared or they got something to be worried about when they come to Chicago when his tour come up. I feel like that's why D-Dog reacted like that. But DJU, bro, because I'm an interviewer too, bro. You was trying to get to the question about them coming to Chicago. I know it. That's what you had to be asking, dude. But for one, you got to ask yourself as an interviewer, is it worth getting the person who you interviewing upset? Is it worth causing commotion, or is there a better way that you could have answered that? I just feel like D Dog ain't got them all, bro. I feel like his effort ain't going all the way.
D Dog a gangster.
Like, he get paid to crash out and do dumb junk. That's his job.
Yeah,
That
man.
was probably the right 4K trade member to interview. You know what I'm saying? Because dude don't look like it don't look like he got no filter, bro. And we just seen, bro, like there's no way that D Dog is ever gonna be able to do interviews in the future having this type of mindset, bro. People gonna ask you a question that might get you up. Like,
Man, D Dog, right.
but it clear as day shows that.
I think how you feel about that? I know you a content creator. You congratulations again for you being a mass media graduate. So you know the behind the scene, but why do you have to come as a black content creator and ask and you say you from the hood and ask non hood questions? You shouldn't ask certain hood politics on TV. Now, it's a difference when dudes get the gangsters are back in the day. You go get dudes that did 20 years, 15 years in crimes, old as fuck, and they get on there and tell you their story. That's cool. But active today, asking dudes active things of today that can see some investigation or beef that could lead to death, wheelchairs, innocent people getting shot, innocent people getting hurt. I ain't none of that, bro. For him to yell and embarrass you and get these millions of clips played, well, you could have just asked him, you know what I mean? Like, where the question at? Like, man, do you ever think that, he doing an interview with you and you from Chicago. So it's like, yo, we trying to make amends and be at peace, but this fucking idiot gotta bring the shit up. That's not gangster to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like in this new age of journalism, uh, particularly around Black culture, you look at the head runners like academics, um, Adam 22, or even other guys, people that's more street. And I think the simple answer is the hood rule politics just simply don't matter in journalism. They don't matter in the grand scheme of things. So people are not thinking about it. And if DJ you from the hood or not, he's not thinking about it in the hood aspect. He's thinking about what's going to make me the most money, me the most views. Because who's D-Day? Like, yeah, be a shooter, but how many people are looking to hear the story, the come up story, any music from D-Day? Not a lot of people. So to maximize the people in his video or seeing his content with somebody like D-Day, which he more than likely paid to come on his platform to trigger him, that his questions are written and structured. So he knew what he was going to ask him. He had beats in his questions. He knew when to ask that, and he got the moment that he wanted. He wasn't looking for a genuine. So to answer your question, I don't think he was looking for a genuine "let me get to know you" interview. He was looking
Right.
for a moment because that's what it's about. He's trying. He's not just trying. I feel like he's to the point where he's not bringing people on to get that story. He doesn't really care. Everybody has a self motivation or why they doing something
Mhm.
for themselves. And I feel like most content creators don't really care. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, we talking about DJU. Most content creators don't care. It's a thin line in journalism, and most of them just don't care. They rather elevate themselves at the demise of other people, and that's just journalism. That's how I feel. Especially if you I think DJU went to college and stuff like that, so he probably he's one of them. Like, he's from a tough city, probably grew up in the hood and stuff like that, but he's not a street guy. So
Okay.
he putting his work in his brain before politics. I feel like he ain't kid. Maybe he didn't think that D-Day would blow up like that and would actually physically press him, but he knew that it would get some type of reaction out of him, and I think that's why he did it. and it won at the end of the day. I feel like he won at the end of the day. He got his clicks, even if he don't got the clip up himself. He driving the traction and emotion to his channel. So hey, it's fucked up though that people will go that low just for content, bro.
I think
On troll time, that makes 100% sense.
yeah,
That
because I'm saying I think that's dangerous.
it's definitely
I
dangerous.
honestly speaking, I think me from the bottom of my heart, I think it's dangerous.
It
I really do, bro. I think if a journalist, I think going like what they doing now at the Diddy trial. I watched the girl, forget her name, but I forget her name, but she's doing good. She's coming at hard earned journalism,
right.
and I say that
Yeah,
okay,
feel you.
she getting nitty gritty. I'm saying like, bro, if I'm gonna have somebody, it's one thing getting the questions. Like, I don't think Charlemagne appreciated when dudes got out on him or something, but none of those dudes physically put their hands on Charlemagne.
Yeah,
So it made sense. But what we do, DJU and content creators like keeping it a G, myself, like I thought DJU was like a street guy, but guess what? I'm far fetched from the streets now, but I guess when you not from over there, you will play dangerous games for those clicks. But I don't think that he did it to play the game. I think he did it to really ask the question and thought he was playing with a play toy. That's it. You
right.
know what I'm saying? I think he tried them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And which is dangerous because you got content, you got your equipment, shit could jump off. Maybe you have big security with you, but things could happen. And I'm like, yo, bro, when do being black matters? When they say, yo, that's another black man, people died. Dude is on a federal indictment over this. I'm gonna leave that question alone. Dudes are dead. This ain't like with Birdman and Charlemagne. Dudes are dying. Dudes are locked up. You know what I'm saying? This shit real. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, yo, like, come on.
yeah,
Come on, you. Come on. I know DJU is famous for doing wild shit, but I'm like, damn, bro. You willing to get embarrassed on camera and have numerous of clips and putting it out for the clickbait? Hey, to each his own.
yeah.
And to each his own. But my life is more important than a dollar. My life is more important than a click. You get what I'm saying? For real.
That's real. That's 100% sense. That make 100% sense. And
Yeah, bro.
I feel like if it was genuine, like say if he didn't do it for the clickbait and he did genuinely ask that question, you got to think about it. Like you said, people died, and
Yeah.
the person that died mainly was King Von, who was his artist. He was he
Exactly.
so it's like he does have no agenda, and he should have a personal agenda, nigga. Y'all took my artist, who was one of the biggest artists in the world, away. That was making me money. Now I gotta be on interviews asking y'all dumbass niggas questions, cause I
Right.
else y'all took my artist away. So maybe maybe I do want to ask you, nigga, do you feel safe around Chicago, nigga? Because I feel some type of way about you taking my artist. Maybe it was maybe it was truly personal, or maybe it was for clickbait, or maybe it was a mix of both.
But if it was truly personal,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the interview. Because it's personal, that means we gotta get busy. So it's
Yeah,
like, oh, if I'm doing an interview, I'm doing some type of peace training. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because that's all I get out of Eve. I ain't feeling you being in my city. Fuck, I
yeah,
look like putting you on my platform.
right,
That ain't gangster. That don't make sense if I feel a way about Vaughn. Vaughn damn sure wouldn't have you on the platform. I mean, yeah, backdoor you when you get here. You get what I'm saying? That's just what I see. But like I said, you his own man and you was making money and he doing his thing. But I say, man, that's a dangerous game you playing. You like you can't tell me, you know what I'm saying? You getting any schooling because somebody got to be around you. Like, man, why you go bothering them people, man? Them people can go to radio stations, they can go a lot of different places, man. We leave that alone if you ain't gonna get your hands dirty, you know what I'm saying? It's sticky, just like how BG described Cash Money and No Limit. They wasn't making diss records about each other, you know what I mean? But they knew that they could never work with each other. You get what I'm saying? It's what's understood don't got to be explained. I don't have to be a tough or Billy Badass to prove a point. You get what I'm saying? If it's not reason, if it's controversy for me doing it, I'm a back up. It's too much clickbait out here to deal with death in prison because that's what's involved in that whole King Von NBA young boy Quando Rondo situation. Death
and the FBI. You know what I'm saying? You talking about three rappers all been grabbed by the feds. So I ain't trying to entertain none of that. You get what I'm saying? That shit bigger than the internet. That shit has the funeral home and prison involved. You know what I mean? Same thing with Doc. Like you don't get on there and asking these dudes crazy things about that because people are dead and in prison about that. It's active investigations going on about that. Now, I mean, you say the wrong thing, you'll say the wrong thing on an interview, boy, that could be used in court. And that's what we're seeing a lot of. Even though Jay-Z and them just wanted in New York that your rap lyrics shouldn't be used against you, but it's happening in the federal, it's happening around here. You know what I mean? They might can't use it in court, but it's enough to get them a warrant for your arrest and it's enough to harass you. You understand what I'm saying? And like I said, if he was in Chicago, why you interview him? If you felt the way about Vaughn, like, well, I would have told you, you'd be like, yo, interview, yo, either we doing it strictly business or we doing it for some shit. And if the nigga ain't get hurt and beat up or you ain't swing on him when he was aggressive about that, you got the passport camera. You made the rack look crazy. That's my thing. You made Chirac look crazy. If this boy playing with you and you know that and you was King Von DJ, so you in it. You either in it or you're not. You acting like you in it, and now he's carrying it like nigga. I'm gonna make you bow down in these Chirac streets. Show you how we treat you Chirac niggas in Chirac. That's shorty motive because you brought that thing out when you could have sat down and be like, man, which way you ever think we could get past this? Chicago feel a way about Vaughn, down south feel a way about this. You know what I'm saying? Solution shit because you already getting 100,000 of views, you already making some money. So what's a missed dollar to have something going on? Vaughn got kids out here. These guys got kids out here. Do anybody think about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's more cultural thing. I think so deep in it because I'll be like, bro, I'm a black man here on the shores of North America, and they want to kill our hip hop. They want to kill our genre of music because a lot of shit is being beyond the talent. It's beyond the industry. Now, you content creators are getting rich and egging this shit on, bro. How could you sleep with that at night? You got to go see the maker one day for encouraging more murders on children because these niggas be over 30 creating this content. I mean, if you look at the younger guys under 30, you got Amp, you got Lil Rodney, you know what I'm saying? They creating good content. While older motherfuckers want to egg on beefs. Adam 22, niggas over 30, egging on beefs. But the guys under 30 are creating clean, good content. You understand what I'm saying? And getting millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Making the culture look good, making like damn kids having fun, teenagers having good parties. You don't hear about no offenses, dudes. They had the cookout. It looked good. So I'm like, yo, which way you want the content to go? Now, if you a dude from over there, you get active and you want to act active. Of course, I feel like a person that's not from neither place could probably ask that question. You get Wild on Gilly and get Shorty on there, he might open up about that, how he feel about that. But DJ, you being from the set, you can't do that. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I felt about it. And because you did that, you got played with. And your clickbait is embarrassing. So if you could sit, that's like saying you got kicked up your ass to make $3 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you that's so ass that you got from getting kicked up there multiple times, if that's what's on you, hey, you be my guy. Be my guy, man. Be my fucking guy. Be my guy, man. But DJ U, man, he got his clickbait, he got his money. So what we got going on? And young boy, how you feel about young boy tour being in Chicago?
I feel like that's something we could have guessed happened. I feel like young he ain't scary. That's one thing he showed us. Questions you could ask is like, why would the tour people whoever is in charge of the tour, the label, why would they allow it? But it's like, it's a big market. I'm sure he might.
I don't think nothing gonna happen to him.
Yeah, and I feel like more than likely probably gonna sell out. So it's like, why not?
Just gonna sell out. Yeah, it would be cool if they but it's like, yo, you dealing. He gonna be protected.
Yeah, for shit, sure.
I'm trying to see where he's in Chicago, September the 24th.
Okay.
By the way, in Chicago, the tour kick off September the 1st. Chicago is within the top 10 dates for real. The top, then definitely in the top 15 dates.
That makes sense. It's something young boy would do.
Yeah, like he ain't even. He in Baltimore October the 4th.
Fact, DB2 said everybody ain't OTF in Chicago, right? Everybody ain't OTF, everybody ain't BD. That's true. So
Yeah,
like
true indeed, true indeed, true indeed. And you're 100% right about that, bro. You're 100% right about that. That's why the tour is gonna sell out. That's why I'm like, yo, DJU, what are you in? You must be GD or BD or something, man, to be asking nigga that business. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, he definitely
What
jumped.
was the question that he asked?
Another thing I feel like you messed up was how many times did you kept saying I'm King Von's manager, I'm King Von's manager, I'm King Von's manager.
See?
I mean King Von's DJ, I'm King Von's DJ. Like, bro, like you just kept saying triggering words, and I'm like, when I'm watching, I'm like, first of all, I was like, all right,
See? Roll back. Look.
I mean, that don't sound like the right thing, but it is what it is good content. And then when I see him kept saying Von DJ, I said, yeah, don't he know that they already like ain't messing with them dudes? It was just certain things that as DJ you interviewing so many people, I would have thought he would have known better to do. But I'm gonna tell y'all for up and coming bloggers or podcasts or interviewers, a 3 second viral clip ain't worth, man, getting to no conflict. It ain't worth it. It just ain't worth it, man. Certain situations, if you already know about,
because I'm gonna pause him because yo, you heard us. You heard us dudes and yo, good rappers don't have to do interviews. Thug ain't did one yet. Like motherfuckers don't gotta do interviews. So when y'all, that's how rappers used to be back in the day. They ain't want to go on the radio station because you had personnels that will be out of order. So if you got personnels that'll be out of order, why would you go on a you know what I'm saying? So it's like, dang, yo, these niggas ain't gonna want to fuck with us. You get what I'm saying? Like, so it make it look bad for creators too, yo.
Oh, Von, Dirt.
So why would you now if you would have did that? Now listen, now you said something, Spaz, early
Yeah,
on, because I listen to everything. You said that, man, he King Von DJ,
yeah.
and you feel me? Boom, 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 boom. But why do you keep saying that? Because now you saying that's like saying to a dude, I'm gonna use Tupac, and I'm interviewing a dude from New York, and I keep saying to dude, yo, Pop was my cousin. Yo, Pop was my man. I don't need my cousin was my man. What the fuck you keep saying that for, bro? You told me the first time Young was Von manager. I was his DJ. All right, cool. That's what's up. But that's uncomfortable to say. Like, oh, what's up? What you fuck you tell me for? You know what I mean? We here talking about Von. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing against Von or whatever. I'm quite sure nigga ain't gonna try to diss Von right there, but like, that's what I would have said. If I was sure, like, man, Von manager, Von DJ, okay. Why are you telling me that? I'm not here to do a feature with Von. See how ignorant, see how one thing can lead to ignorance, because I'd have said, bro, I ain't doing an interview with Vaughn. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here with Vaughn.
Right.
You telling me about Vaughn. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like, that's playing, bro. That's playing. And everybody gonna say that. At least common sense. I mean, like, a common sense gonna tell you, why would I keep telling some dude that got murdered? That man got murdered in the hands of one of y'all artists over words of NBA young boy and Dirt. The leading beef of that dumb shit. And it led to the entourages. It led to it getting out of hand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It led to it getting out of hand. Why would you talk about that? You know what I mean? You feel away when you keep trying to let him know that you run with the niggas that killed my man. Like, come on, bro. Then you ain't punch him or do nothing to him. Come on, bro. Come on, DJU. Come on, DJU. DJU can get himself killed, bro. That's what the fuck DJU. DJU get himself killed, bro. Real shit. Get himself killed, bro. So, you in Atlanta. Let me get a little bit for this before we get to this.
No, I just felt like that wasn't a good question, man. It wasn't.
Well, that go fire ass, man.
But maybe to you,
I see you.
that was around. Maybe y'all was prepared for what was about to go down. But it's clear as day that y'all was in Baton Rouge. So, bro, now you got to worry about trying to make it out of Baton Rouge. You see why it's not working? Now, if you'd have been in Chicago,
so you was in Baton Rouge doing an interview.
I went to Chicago for no interview. You went to Baton Rouge. So, bro, it's a good chance, bro, that you could have possibly not made it out of Baton Rouge by asking a simple question that you already know the answer to. You already
Spaz, come on.
To Chicago.
I didn't know that. So we thought he was in Chicago. So
Maybe
he now Baton Rouge playing that game. What is he asking? Now tell me now what you think about that. He asking the guy.
thing, because why would he still go to, why would he be willing to travel to Baton Rouge? The only logical reason is for money, for clout. Like,
Right.
because there ain't no other reason why would you go? It's no reason for anybody to even go to Baton Rouge, unless you trying to, you feel what I'm saying? Like, it's not New Orleans, so it's like you're not it's not Liddy. I feel like he went there just to do that, and some people really don't be playing with that life like that. It be hard to fathom and understand, but some people live with life like that, bro. Some people, that's best, they value money, bro, and it's evil. And I feel like
Yo,
I feel like
Baton Rouge was the murder capital of the world.
exactly. And it's
Man, he crazy, bro.
he's
He
a
crazy, bro. He wanna die, bro. That's I can't make nothing about it with DJ. You wanna die, bro. He wanna do 1 billion views, bro, but he don't want to be here to see it. Like, I'm just being a man about it. Like, hey, man, I'm manning up about it, man. Been finish it with your saying.
You already know them dudes ain't scared to come to Chicago. We already know what the history that's going on. So certain things you can already put two and two together. You don't really have to ask them. But when you're looking for that viral moment or that viral clip or that viral interview, you will ask somebody a question that you know. And sometimes it may not pan out for you. So thank God that it was some level-headed people around it that was able to, get some resolution, man. But DJ, that was a dummy move, bro. That was a rookie move. And for you that did all these interviews, I just would have thought you would have knew not to ask D-Dog something like that. And then keep saying you King Von's man. I mean, you King Von DJ, you King Von DJ, bro. I just don't think that was smart. I love you. I appreciate y'all so much.
I don't think it was smart either, bro. I don't think it was smart.
was
He
like,
pulled it off. I don't think it was smart, though. He gotta love his family, bro. He
yeah,
gotta
man,
love his family.
hell, bro.
Get engaged and or he did engage the service.
All right, so P. Diddy, y'all, how you feel about this? How you feel about Diddy? Hey, what
Motherfucking
up, what up, what up, Harry Johnson? Donate to
D.
the channel.
Johnson, Diddy, P Diddy, bro. And that's crazy because I ain't gonna lie. I was just watching a video about Diddy yesterday. I'm young, man. I'm only 22, turning 22 in July. I'm young, bro. So Diddy before my time, but I remember the first time I ever heard about Diddy doing something violent was probably when I heard that he slapped Drake because of the disagreement they had on stage about the 0 to 100 song. And I'm thinking, I'm like in middle school, like Diddy slap Drake? I didn't. That's the first thing I ever heard about Diddy doing something vicious. I didn't know this was his whole persona. I didn't know. I don't even know Diddy for being with Biggie Smalls. You feel me? I didn't know that he get down like that at all. I thought he was a chill industry exec. But I didn't know Diddy got down like that. That was the first time I ever heard Diddy doing something vicious. He saw
It was the first time I heard a Diddy nigga say he slapped Drake. Yeah, he did.
he's a villain, bro. He's a villain. A villain. He might be a villain, but all just aside, bro. I think what they trying to charge Diddy for, I do feel like it's unfair to say that. To say because what they trying to charge him for is sex trafficking. To say that man is sex trafficking because he's flying girls out and giving them lunch, he might give them some money. It's crazy. So now you basically telling us we can't fly girls out now and pay them. Not I don't want to do it, but what if I wanted to do it one day? Like I can't even do it because I might get a RICO on me. I might get sent to federal prison because I decided to fly some girls out. That makes no sense. So I think the charge that he's specifically being charged with, he's not guilty, but he's definitely guilty of being a fucked up person. Like, let's just be real. He did some fucked up shit to a lot of people. What he did to Cuddy was wrong, and it was soft in my opinion. It was very soft. You a grown man and you go to another man's house over a broad you messing with who she's playing you and Cuddy, not telling y'all about each other. You thinking that she's just being loyal to you because of how you treating her, and you willing to go to a man's house. You don't know if you're there or not. Break in, burn his car, vandalize his crib, assault this dog all over a woman. And that shows you the psychology behind Diddy, whether we love him or hate him. It's facts that you just can't deny. And that's gullible. The average Joe on the street, if he crash out over a girl, we call him a pussy. We call him soft. We call him this, that, and the third. So why are we giving Diddy a pass? That was some sucker shit, bro. That was some sucker shit. No matter if you a street nigga or not, that was some sucker shit to break in a man house over a female. A female you're not even married to. She is just somebody you like to have threesomes with from time to time. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So how I feel about Diddy's situation, I feel like his trial, I feel like he's not guilty of sex trafficking. That's crazy. That's the government throwing a book at people like they do everybody. But he is guilty of being a bad person.
That's and that's not a crime.
And that's not the crime
Yeah.
that he's trying, not easy. So I feel like I don't think he should be charged for that, bro. I don't think he should be in jail or sent to prison for years for something that he didn't do, bro. I don't think he sex trafficked women. I don't think so. I feel like most of them will. I feel like probably all of them. I ain't gonna say all of them because I don't know the true story. So I'm gonna say a lot of them were willing participants. The person that's brought on trial is a willing participant. You feel me? The second girl, I think that they brought out or they're going to bring in, she was a willing participant. So y'all couldn't even get girls that wasn't willing participants. Y'all couldn't even get them to come in and say, "Oh, this was done to me." Blah 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 blah. No, what you saying is sex trafficking, and you're saying that Cassie was sex trafficked, but she was a willing participant. It doesn't make sense. Now he might have did harmful things to her, but he's not on trial for them harmful things that he did to her. He's on trial for sex trafficking her specifically, and
In the Rico.
right, and it don't make sense to me. I feel like yeah, they should have if they wanted to put him away, should have put him away for shit that he actually did. Like I said, I don't like what he did to Cuddy, especially because he know Cuddy ain't no street nigga. And you know Cuddy ain't. You feel me? He not a tough guy. So they even do something to somebody that's chill, low key. To me, just show the mentality behind the man. A lot of people might appear strong, but they weak minded. He guilty technically, but I'm not gonna stop listening. No way. I feel that. I feel like DB2 says he's guilty technically, but he's not gonna stop listening to him. There's no way around it. I feel you on that. I personally don't feel you on that because I am different. If I feel like if my favorite artist did some stuff I dislike, I can dissociate. But it's some people you got that ride or die in them, and I feel you, bro. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel you. But that's like
I,
saying Kelly. No, we're not gonna get into the R. Kelly discussion, but
I mean, you can get into it if you want to, but I feel like this with Diddy. Some of the things that you were saying, I agree. I feel like Diddy come from a business background, industry background. He's a college guy. Went to Howard. Shout out to Howard. Um, so he comes from great parties and having people have a good time. You know what I'm saying? True indeed. So a lot of those parties, I think, and after parties and whatever he was doing, people wanted to be involved because hey, you're dealing with a billionaire, you're dealing with Diddy. He has the best parties in the world. But like you said, I don't believe that the man was, doing a lot of shit. But being a horrible person, yes. You know what I mean? Putting his hands on his girlfriend, yes. We saw that, but we don't see the trafficking women holding. And then the people that's getting on the stand, I feel like it's a money play. I don't feel like this is genuinely what happened to them. Like Cassie, you know, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, and even the deceased could see that the man, whatever she say, then even with her, 65% of the shit she's saying, I don't believe. It's a 35% of possessive, putting his hands on aggressive. It's his favorite person to have these freak offs with. So, I can feel like that. Then but also, they also show them people's in a relationship, in a toxic and a sex, money, and drug relationship. You get what I'm saying? But what the government trying to do, I don't they haven't won me on it with weeks of testimony and hearing everybody saying things. Some days they look like it, but when you really rationalize with this, man, come on, man, y'all. I believe that part of me. I'm not gonna say I'm already sold on it, but I think he's gonna get a not guilty, and they'll find him guilty or something. But I think if he get a not guilty, I think they'll bring up. I don't think that his trouble in court would be over with a not guilty verdict from the government. I think the states will try to go at him on this. Because if it was the state thing, Diddy will probably be, if they wanted to bring up the new domestic violence charges and it wasn't no statute of limitation, then I believe that Diddy would have been uncopped out. But this federal trial, Rico, I don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. Sex trafficking and the Rico, like I just feel like he was charged wrong. And nobody has hit the stand to me and really put the nail in the coffin for Diddy. Because their head witnesses his ex-girlfriend that just got millions of dollars that was in. And with Kid Cudi, I know you spoke about Cudi.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about Kid Cudi is that he testified that, after the Cassie incident in the car, that he saw Diddy and Diddy just genuinely gave him a genuine man-to-man apologies, right? Diddy's
Right.
brought up on these charges in 2024. He's going to trial in 2025. And that Kid Cudi situation was over 10 years ago. Kid Cudi was wrong, bro. It was just like, bro, I seen you. I caught up with you. You looked me in my eyes and said it was over with, man. We need to do some music. You squashed the beef as a man. But
Mm-hmm.
come back 13, 14 years later and testify against me of an old beef we had about a chick that you said possibly playing both of us. You testified against me, man. You testified against me, man. You a wild guy. You a wild guy. Kid Cudi denied that. I'm not, listen, y'all. I don't want to get in the middle of that. What we had was then. It's over.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It's over. I don't want to get involved in that, bro. And he has the right to that. It's no law forcing him to be involved in something that me and this man had met. We made amends. I didn't like that from Cudi. That was a real snake move. What are you getting out of that, Cudi? A new Porsche? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you getting? You know what I mean? What did you gain from that? And the Cassie best friend, the stylist, the designer chick, that's a lie. I don't think so. Look, it's a lie. Security, a couple of security guys. Once you get on a stand, for me, if I was a jury and you say immunity, you use the word immunity, I can't really trust you because you working to protect yourself. You're not generally just saying this is the right thing and I'm obeying the law and it's the law and it's what I want to do. No, you're getting a gift. You're being rewarded for your cooperation. So that's, to me, is admissible. Like, I don't even care too much to even ever type nigga, you know what I'm saying? Type of boy get on the stand to do that. So a lot of them is gibberish, but it's a lot for a jury to hear for 7 weeks. And I'm waiting for around your birthday time for this thing to be over with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right before your birthday, man, this thing will be over with. So we're entering. It started in May, so this is the last month of it, and I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to see it, unfold. But what the charges did he got? I don't see why he can't unfold and not guilty. Because I don't. Sex trafficking, RICO is really serious. But let's hear a little bit about what they're talking about on this.
Get engaged in
Day 19.
you get engaged the services of these escorts, these male escorts, have sex with people like Jane, have sex with people like Cassie. So I think that certainly did engage in prostitution. He's not necessarily charged exclusively with sex trafficking, but he obviously engaged in prostitution. He was giving money to these folks in order to have them engaged in sexual acts with Cassie and Jane, as we've heard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting because they are, especially with the. Didn't you get the sense, Candace, from you mentioned it before, the former CFO, the guy who headed up the Combs finances? There was an element where they're trying to talk how profitable and how strong the businesses were. Maybe to suggest, hey, he's using company resources to, facilitate crimes, or is it to say if Sean Combs is benefiting from a racketeering conspiracy, right? If he's benefiting from these illegal acts, if he's benefiting from a pattern of abusing women, look how good his businesses are doing, right? There has to be something there.
Yeah, what I think the CFO did was two-pronged. One, for the defense side, it said, listen, there are all of these other businesses that were actually involved in his everyday goings on. There were a lot of collaborative efforts. There were a lot of things going on with the liquor companies. So he couldn't on his own be making all of these decisions on his own as one singular crime boss, as one single person involved in this RICO racketeering effort. I think that that's what worked for the defense. On the prosecution side, I think it said, well, listen, every single thing that you have been doing. Let's talk about the forced labor. Well, if you're not paying somebody for their forced labor, but the work that they're doing is actually making you money, i.e., Capricorn Clark, for example, well, then that is something that you profit from, that you try to make somebody work for free. So I see it going both ways, that it works for the prosecution and the defense, and that definitely when you're looking at everything that he does on a day to day, that his company is benefiting from it overall, or all of his companies. And I think that that's what happens when we look at RICO. Is anybody benefiting on any level? As you said, it doesn't have to be tangible money. Is there a benefit that someone is doing something under your direction and you are deriving something from it? I think that that answer is yes.
Tyler, we got a question here from Tia215. Why are they not bringing Young Miami in, Jesse? I think she knows a lot. Now, my understanding,
I want to know about that.
Sean Combs. My understanding, Tyler, she has been mentioned in at least one lawsuit. And here's what's also interesting about it, and not necessarily as a defendant, if I don't remember that correctly. I think it was the Rodney Little Rod Jones lawsuit. But she was dating him. She was asked about all of these allegations after all the news broke, and she basically said that she was deeply hurt and shocked after watching the video of Combs beating up Cassie. That was not my experience at all, she said. It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times of your life, but sometimes you got to do that. That's Combs. Combs said that, actually. My apologies. But yeah, but no, she said that was not my experience at all. And I'm reading a People magazine article about it from August 2024, so before his arrest. Seems to me, Tyler, maybe she'll be a defense witness.
I was just about to mention that she could possibly be a defense witness to show that this pattern that the government is trying to say existed did not exist. And you have a lot of similarities between just Young Miami and Miss Ventura. If you're thinking artists, both were artists, both are beautiful women, both are younger than Mr. Combs, and both could be deemed to be impressionable. And Young Miami went on the record, said that that was not her experience with Mr. Combs. And it also could be that she, knowing that wasn't her experience, the prosecution doesn't feel like she would add anything to further their case. If anything, she breaks that link if Mr. Combs did not treat her any way similar than he did Jane, and he treated Miss Ventura and the other victims that testified so far.
And I think that's, it's kind of up in the air because we don't have an actual, it's a sealed list. So we don't know who's going to be called, but we're speculating about who might actually help the defense's case, if they even need to call anyone. If the name of the game is trying to say, accepting all of these allegations is true, accepting he had these wild nights or these freak offs or debauchery nights, domestic violence, weird sexual relationship, doesn't mean racketeering, doesn't mean sex trafficking, and really trying to strike the credibility of these weak witnesses. And I think, William, they have been doing quite a good job of cross-examining a lot of the women who have testified against. You see what the jury made, but they're doing their job. You said they're doing their job before. They're doing their job cross-examining these witnesses.
Well, yeah,
sure are. And again, one of the things that we have in this, that each of these witnesses has such a giant digital footprint. I mean, we have text messages, we have audio messages. So there's enough here for the defense to figure out exactly, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot more of that.
Yeah, Tyler, got a question coming in. So anybody, we're going to be answering questions for the next 15 minutes or so. If you have any questions about today's testimony, what's been happening so far, throw them in. We'll answer them.
This live coverage, though, too.
This is a question from Danny, Tyler. Since Diddy is still paying Jane's rent, could that be considered witness tampering?
Good question. I don't think so. If this is witness tampering, Diddy needs a refund of his attempt to tamper with her, because he's still saying stuff that him. I mean, reluctant to say that she actually consented. Now, she went there and said that consent meant consent. Maybe I could see that this has been a good investment on Diddy, continue to pay her rent. But the fact that she's got up there and she said all the things that she said to hurt him, I don't think this would be a good business decision for Mr. Combs to use that $10,000 a month as payment for a certain testimony that's going to help his case.
Candace, question from Never Be. Is there a reason they didn't call Aubrey? I mean, I'm assuming they mean Aubrey O'Day, right?
Oh, sure. Well, she may not have been needed. Sometimes overkill is just overkill. If you've made your point, why water it down even further? And you never know what a witness is going to say. She could ended up being like another Jade, where you have this ambivalence and you leave thinking, well, wait, I'm not sure exactly what she's saying, and are we there yet? So if they could have made their point already with the other witnesses, why call even more? It's kind of the same reason why people are asking, well, where's Neo and where's Usher? Sometimes too much is just too much. Have you made your point? Well, then that's enough. Let's not take a chance.
Got a question from Stella. How long till we see the witnesses for the defense? Love this coverage. Well, thank you so much. We're waiting to see the end of the prosecution's case, and probably at the end of court every day, we'll get an understanding of how much longer the prosecution's case is, who they intend to call next. And there is going to be a day when they say we have one more witness or two more witnesses we expect to end by this day. Then the defense will try to end this case, right? Right, William? They will try to end this case immediately. Make sure it doesn't even go to the jury. Explain what that is, and also explain why. I think I'm confident saying
that's why I like listening to
what happens after
them people that's dead, them experts.
Sure, when the prosecution rests, it is incumbent upon the defense attorneys to ask the judge to declare that the Commonwealth did, or the government did prove their case. Essentially, you're filing a motion for what's called a directed verdict. And what you basically are arguing to the judge is, look, even in the light most favorable to the government, even if you're taking
William, sorry, I think you're cutting out. Your connection's a little bad. I'm gonna have to jump in. Tyler, I'll throw that to you. So, what happens again at the end of the prosecution's case, and why I don't think it's going to be successful?
They said the trial going to end early.
Yeah,
too.
picking up from where William was saying, he was saying that the defense will make a motion for a directed verdict, saying that prosecution simply failed to prove any of their charges that they're accusing Mr. Combs of, and that there was no evidence essentially that he's guilty of these charges. Generally, that seldom works in the case of this magnitude, and that motion will likely be denied by the judge, and then the defense will move forward with their case if they intend to bring a case, which I'm pretty sure Mr. Combs would have brought this team if they weren't going to present a case of their own.
Hey, Candace, question from Jeannie Forever. You think prosecutors and defense are watching this show for a sense of how they're doing and where they go for their questioning?
Oh, I bet they are. And listen, since they can't talk to the jurors, they need to watch something to get a sense. What are people saying? What are people doing out there, one way or the other? And how are we doing our jobs? Because they don't know. Amongst themselves, of course, they're saying they were doing a good job. But you don't know until you hear from other people out in the world. I'm sure they're looking at everything on TV to figure out what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? Because for now, we are the jurors that they can actually listen to and make some assessment from.
Well, Jay Lee says this is great.
Are you ready?
Of course.
Yo, so yeah, man, I don't think they're gonna pull a guilty verdict.
I don't think so neither.
I don't think they're gonna pull a guilty verdict out of Diddy, bro. They charged them wrong. If they gonna come back, I don't know. But as far as this shit go, I don't gotta happen.
That could possibly be used in an appellate brief if he's convicted. So, are there potential appeal issues that you're seeing that you say, you know what, that is going to be a prime issue to bring up? His rights were violated. This was an unfair trial, something prejudicial. Anything you say?
Biggest issue that I've seen would have been the video when Mia, I believe, was testifying on the stand, that they said would lend others to believe that she's completely acting as a different person on the stand that day. And me saying that is just the assumption of what I could draw inferences of from the sidebar arguments that you heard from the lawyers as to why the evidence should have been admitted. That evidence, I believe, ultimately was precluded from being presented in the case because the court found it to be duplicative of all the other social media evidence that was entered into. But it seemed like the defense wanted to use it for a different reason. And I think that was the biggest piece.
I wonder what they're going to show when they show the sex tapes. Like, you want to show people having sex.
I may not be aware of.
Well, look, I think the idea that what they filed for the mistrial, basically saying, "Oh, the witnesses, the jury is considering perjured testimony," it's just completely unfair. I imagine that's something they're going to say. But look, that's their opinion of the testimony. It's a matter of fact if the jury believes when any of these witnesses are not telling the truth. Which is, here I got a follow up question for you, Tal. This is from Blessing Eek. Can the charges be split between directed verdict and jury verdict? Again, the idea about taking it, the defense jumping in and saying this shouldn't go to the jury.
That's a good question. I mean, they could move for a directed verdict on particular charges. That could be specifically done. Generally, what happens on a directed verdict, though, you have a defense lawyer make an argument for a directed verdict on all the charges. Strategically, it could be favorable, I guess, but if the prosecution just done a good job, or they don't think they've done a good job, for example, on RICO or sex trafficking. They could do that, but generally, more times than not, it's just a directed verdict on all the charges that the government's bringing.
We have a poll up. Who would you want to see on the stand next? 76% say Christina Quorum, 23% say D-Rock. But clearly, you have two individuals who seemingly play major roles in this saga. I do believe Christina Quorum, is somebody that is very, very important, just based on the fact that the prosecution hasn't missed an opportunity to bring her up in every witness who's testified. All right, this is okay. So this is from Cecilia Boggle. I throw this to you, Candace. Will Sean Combs testify?
That's a real question.
You mentioned Christina Quorum. That's a very good segue into answering that question. And that if Christina Quorum testifies, I predict she's going to throw it all on Sean. And at that point, I think that he will have to think even more seriously about testifying if he isn't already. Obviously, it is not a good idea. I mean, think about his testimony in a sense already in terms of his apology tape that he had time to prepare for. How did that come off? He would not only have to answer to that, but he had to answer to every single thing that a witness says. But I think that if she testifies once again, if she pins it all on him, he might think this is going to be my only saving grace. Because now you have this woman over here we know has been there every step of the way, probably going to make a very good witness too. That's just my guess. And he's going to feel on the defense. I think his ego would probably kick in. I think that he probably would much more strongly consider testifying if she goes for the jugular and puts it all on him. Absolutely.
You gotta wonder his judgment, though. Like you said, the judgment to make an apology video on Instagram 2 days after CNN published that video, it painted his defense, it painted his arguments in a corner. So you wonder if it really would serve him to do this. But I'll throw up another follow-up question to you, Candace. This is from Ray Bishop. Goes to the idea of the defense. Will they use the lack of violence with Jane? Which, by the way, there's a caveat. I would say as of yet. As of yet, we don't know what's coming out in the next course of the day. Will they use the lack of violence with Jane as a way to poke holes in Cassie and her friend's story by making it seem contrived?
I think they definitely will say, all right, there was no violence when you compare it to all these other people, the hanging out of the window and Mia's door hand, her being slammed in the door. But I do think that saying it was contrived, I think that that's a long way to go in terms of just continuing to say, oh, they're lying, they're lying, they're lying. I think first, when the defense would say, okay, aren't you lying? Isn't this a money grab? Isn't that not the truth? It worked a little bit, but I think that that's kind of worn off. The fact that there is no violence, as you said, we have yet to see that with Jane, but Jane is just one person. Every single other person, every single witness almost has testified to some violence who was in his inner circle. And I think that they've already made the point. So Jane, she goes either way. I think that even if the jury does not believe her at all, I think they still have enough and that it may not even make that much of a difference.
Okay. So, by the way, there was no court update. They seem they still haven't started back up again. So that's interesting. But I'm going to get some final thoughts. And let me throw it to you, Tyler. As a final thought, this is a question from Sar to Sav. Surely the prosecution knew that Jane's testimony was flawed, given she said she consented. Why would they still put her as a major witness? Is there a strategy here?
I think that they're looking to prove this sex trafficking charge with her, and I think that she's called. We're at week 5 of the trial. This late in the game for a reason because they know she's not the star witness. not the strongest witness, but she's a victim. And I think if this prosecution is truly doing this for the right reason, they believe that all victims should be heard and they should have justice should be brought on those who abuse and commit crimes against others. So she is flawed, but many times in cases like this, victims are flawed. They're not Cinderella's. Story is murky. And oftentimes I've seen it where prosecutors have dropped cases when they're deserving victims, despite how flawed they are, drop the case and not allow them that opportunity to bring their story to a jury. So, despite how flawed she is, I do commend the prosecution as the defense lawyer for still giving her an opportunity to have her voice heard and the jury making the decision whether they believe her or not.
Candace, I'll throw it to you. Final question. This is from Enlin DK. Why are the prosecution not pulling up his apology video to show he lies?
Hey,
We haven't seen it yet. I'm not sure exactly why they haven't done that. That would be a very strong thing to do. However, we have other information and other witnesses to show that he has lied, right? So, and it's something that they may not even need to point to. I'm surprised they haven't pulled it yet. It's not over, but it's something that the door is still open to.
All right. Well, the conversation continues. The debate continues. First of all, I want to thank William Corman. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to ask him more questions, tech issues. Internet was not great, but appreciate it, William. And Tyler Bailey, Candace Kelly, thank you so much. As one of the viewers said, all-star panel, great panel. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your insight. And everyone out there, thank you so much for your amazing questions. As always, we plan to do this lunchtime show for you each and every day of this trial. We don't want you to miss anything. I'll see you next time. I'm Jesse Weber. Have a great rest of your day.
So what's your take, Faz? You know what I mean? I don't know, boy. They talk about the one that was close to him. I don't know, man. I think, like I said, man, I think it's a not guilty around the clock. I think he was charged wrong.
Exactly. I 100% agree with you. I think he was charged wrong. Like if y'all wanted him in jail, y'all should have charged him with the right thing, bro. It makes no sense, bro. If they wanted that man in jail, they should have charged him with the right thing. You can't keep sticking any and every charge on a man just to put him away. Like that's slavery. That's modern day slavery, and that's literally why they kept slavery in the amendments so that they could just find reason to charge us and put us back in jail, bro, for when they don't like us, or when the world is ready to go against us. And I feel like that's unfair. That's unfair because despite how I feel about Diddy, if they do it to Diddy, they can do it to anybody else. So like, no, I'm not going for that. I don't agree with it. I agree with you, 100%, bro. 100%. You gonna charge me?
I think, yeah,
Feel me?
yeah. I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100% on that. Diddy. It ain't nothing. They saying a lot. Everybody saying new stuff. Diddy, trial secrets, surface. You know what I mean? Like I tell you, Tisha, tells it all. I be watching her a lot. There's a lot of people saying different stuff, but I don't know, man. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't like to get overwhelmed with the news. I don't report it every day. I catch up with it, but it's different.
Yeah. This trial, it's a crazy trial. Like a lot of these hip hop trials has been. It's been really a clown show for the prosecution, and probably all of these recent hip hop trials, the Diddy trial, the Young Thug trial, the YNW Melly trial. Like they're going outside trying to prosecute hip hop. Is it that serious? I don't think it's that serious if we're being honest, bro.
Right.
Like y'all want Black culture to be took down so bad, bro, that y'all willing to put up. I mean, that's America though.
Yeah, true indeed.
It makes
So Javante Davis fighting Lamont Roach.
Oh
How
my
you
god.
feel about that? How you feel about the first fight? Everybody
The
trying to
first,
say tank.
I was kind of I wasn't
He got
I wanted
breaks in his
Lamont.
hand, bro. I ain't even.
I
He punched hard. I
think
ain't
it
gonna
was
lie. He
time.
That was enough to get
Yeah,
Lamont Roach Sr. fired up. He
I'm
didn't
gonna be 100%
try to laugh
honest.
off.
I wanted
Instead, he shot right
Lamont
back, saying
to
Tank
not
was the
Lamont.
one who didn't want the
I wanted.
rematch in the first place. Y'all know it. Y'all sat
Say
on
it
that
again, Smith.
contract. We
No,
signed it
I
away.
wanted.
Was your
I
side
wanted.
dragging things out, hoping
Lamont
this would
out.
fade?
I
Roach
didn't want to
said.
give him a.
Now you're here trying to act tough?
I wanted it to be a knockout. I thought it would be a knockout. The fact that Tank ain't even win kind of let me down, but it is what it is. Maybe Roach might be like that, but I still don't think he's fucking with Tank. I think Tank gonna beat him his next fight.
I think Tank will be the April the 16th, August the 16th, because I think they put too much in it. You know what I mean? And like I said, Tank was in a place, bro. I just hope he's out of that space.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all
you
I hope. I
right.
don't hope nothing else. Tank was in a place. Tank was going through stuff that the world don't know. I don't know it. We can't report about it, but Tank was in a space, bro. I'm not knocking Roach. Roach, shout out to DC. Shout out to the DMV. You know what I'm saying? But Tank won't come back and work.
Right.
Davis put his WBA lightweight title on the line, but instead of delivering a clear win, he found himself in the
Yeah. So, but Roach gonna stand up, but he ain't gonna stand up long.
Yeah, you're right. We got that out. Tank definitely in a mental space
and burned so badly he couldn't
a
see.
lot.
The officials didn't count it as a knockdown, which ended
Players
up
might
being
do a
crucial.
stunt.
The judges called the fight a draw, and Davis held on to his belt.
I just so happen to be a boxing fan, and the fact that I didn't watch him fight, you know what I'm saying? Like I really like boxing. Are you open to a rematch? In my contract, immediate rematch was signed. I signed for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight. Right. Just in case he lost or just in case it was a draw. So when you got a rematch clause,
Oh, he's thick. Tank got beat the shit out of Roach, bro.
So I think it's gonna be soon. I'm hoping it's gonna be soon. Let's say that. What is soon to you? When you say soon to me, I'm thinking a month. I'm thinking July. I'm thinking July for sure.
Now that the rematch is in place,
Tank knocked his head back. Shout out to DB too.
fans
I
noted something immediately.
say Davis knocking him out.
Dang. He cut his head.
That single change set social media on fire. One
Cut his head.
commented, shortcut Tank back, Roach is sleep. Another said,
Shortcut Tank back, Roach is asleep.
there's a clear feeling among Davis supporters that the version of Tank we're about to see will be focused and brutal.
Tank. Tank.
Wait, Tank.
Yeah, that boy cut his head. That
Oh,
boy coming in there to hurt him.
yeah, he not joking, man. He got the nice chop. He ready to take him out. I'm on the side too.
Hasn't taken the draw as a moral victory. He's been active, vocal, and calling
That's
for the second shot the moment the bell rang.
Yeah, he gonna get hurt.
He even took to social media to call Davis scared, claiming the rematch contract had been signed on his side weeks ago, and they
head
were
back.
just waiting for
Boy,
him to show up. And
damn.
now Davis has
For
shown up.
sure,
There are
some boy.
even voices weighing in. Terrence
I
Crawford
got all the areas DC
in this
playing.
matchup didn't hold back. Speaking on Ring Champ with Ak and Barack, Crawford said he expects Davis to be much better this time around. But when it came to Roach, he didn't think improvement was possible. I think he can get a better Tank, but at the same time, I think Roach fought at his peak. I don't think he can fight better than that, Crawford said.
But my approach, throwing his hands back, tail in the gym preparing. I think the rematch with Roach versus Javante can actually be more exciting. In my opinion, I've said this many times. The actual fight itself was not crazy. The crazy thing is what you get was an 18 as far as age 5-6 match. It was, if you look at the comic box, they didn't throw a lot of punches. It wasn't like it wasn't really a great fight.
He went on to explain that Tank's main problem in the first fight was
I just myself.
throwing one or two punches at a time. He's got to let his hands go. That's a big
Lamont killing himself.
Davis
Lamont Roach signed
still came away with a draw. That letting loose might be enough to make the rematch one-sided, but not
For
every
sure.
Teresa Shields, another world champion, took the opposite stance. In an interview with Fight,
I don't know.
she backed Roach to be even better in the rematch. She pointed
No,
out
I
that
ain't.
Davis is still dealing with pressure outside the ring and said it's been affecting his
Yeah.
performances. Tank needs to get his fear out.
That's what I agree.
Sometimes anger helps you in a
But what you agree with?
it lose control.
I agree with that. Tank been going through a lot of shit outside the ring.
Yeah, that's what I exactly. I said I hope he got time to clear his mind with that, bro. And
Therapy to help him focus.
Like which person he shows up with. No disrespect to Rose, but you know what I mean.
I don't know, yo.
Like y'all fight fans gotta realize that is disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he in there fighting another grown man that ain't going for none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And you don't think Roach is gonna come with another game plan or something better or this, that, and third. So when they have a rematch, are y'all still gonna say, oh, Take's still not his full self ever since he fought whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, like
Her comments aren't just speculation. The fact that Davis took a knee in the middle of a fight, then blamed it on hair grease, shows how unpredictable things can be. Shields sees that as a sign of instability. And in boxing, that kind of distraction can be the difference between winning and losing. Then there's Shakur Stevenson, who might be next in line for the winner. He gave his own warning during a recent interview. Stevenson said he's not looking at this fight like some guaranteed comeback for Davis. In fact, he said the rematch could be even harder.
Because I think that the next fight is going to be a whole lot better. I think the next fight is going to end with somebody being on the canvas.
Yeah, I do that. I believe that too. Somebody get knocked out. Hey, shout out to BD, man.
Putting up such a amazing performance.
He said I made work go by fast as hell. Appreciate you. Appreciate you too, bro.
Lamont Roach has been waiting on this opportunity his entire life, Stevenson said. He talked about sparring with Roach and how serious he takes the challenge. I bet money on the first fight going the distance because I knew he wasn't going to get a decision, Stevenson added. He said what's coming isn't just a regular rematch.
Yeah, somebody gotta get knocked out.
To be better than he was on
somebody gotta get knocked out.
He can't just be his best. He has to be better than whatever he was the last time. It's going to be a very difficult fight.
how you think coming up with
I think don't fight with my actually. Like I hope we don't get a ring with him again. Because at the end of the day, if he lose, it's just gonna look bad on the fight with me. So it's gonna look like somebody else already did it.
you want to take the knock you off, yo?
Yo, she called one of them, yo. She contact gonna hit that body. Because I want the people that's watching to know what's up with me in this tank thing. You know what I mean? You didn't get my mind tank messed up. You gotta remember that. See that?
It's about
you look at that, you gotta remember tank do that to dudes.
A rematch like this,
when dudes get messed up,
surrounded by this much tension, puts pressure
when you
on
play with my man
fighters.
Tank, you gotta look at shit like that. And don't forget, Tank hurt shit.
Ford's warning shot at the press conference might have looked like standard pre-fight hype, but it's clear that the animosity is real. The trainers believe this rematch could redefine both careers.
Yep.
Davis's team is certain Roach knows he got lucky with a draw.
Tank back for Cal.
Convinced Tank.
You know he gets mad and he get away from Cal like you do sometimes. But he said, "Oh, that."
Public jabs.
Right up to get with Cal. Yeah, I'm not boy going to sleep. But hey, listen, man.
Match.
I thank everybody for tapping in. Please hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. Third World tapped in, Spaz tapped in with me, man. And we covered everything. It's not our war over there in LA with this immigration shit and what's going through with ICE. Also, man, we feel like Diddy gonna get a not guilty. And DJ, you man, you dropped the ball on that interview, man. We don't respect that, DJ. You crazy for that, man. Donald Trump sending the Marines and the National Guard on the side of LA to fight that battle, man. It's getting ugly, man. Javante Davis and Lamont Roach, they back at it August the 16th. In Vegas, I think. I think they fighting in Vegas. That's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a sold out event. I think Tank gonna put him to sleep. We have no other choice. We from Baltimore but to go with Tank. You get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I said we don't have no other choice but to go with Tank. We ain't gotta go with the Ravens, but we gotta go with Tank.
Facts.
You know what I mean? We got to go with Tank. You know what I mean? We got to go with Tank and our artists. You know what I'm saying? Because, and 90% of the city, 93% of the city is Raven fans. There's nothing wrong with that if you're a Raven fan. But, a lot of the Raven players don't come from Baltimore. That's just a team that represent Baltimore, and that's cool. I like the Ravens when they're not playing against my Steelers. I do. I'm not going to lie to you. You know what I mean? But I'm real focused on the AFC this year. Like I said, me, Porsche, Prophet, and Kenny going to link up for that second half, the North boys. You know what I mean? The AFC North, that's going to be my new content. I'll be creating all football season. AFC North games, that's what we covering, all North games. That's what I meant to, man. Spaz, what you going to say before we get out of here? Tell them where they can find you.
Shit, you can follow me Third World Studios on YouTube, on Twitch. It's Property of Third World. I'm going live on Twitch, so make sure you turn into that on Twitch. And on Instagram, Third World Studios also, man. Third World.
Go ahead, finish.
No, Third World or No World. We doing journalism topics. We doing music reviews, film reviews, independent film reviews. We doing everything. We just kind of keep it diverse, show love to all different type of cultures, show love to the underground, and let's just spread peace, love, and loyalty.
In this third world, we do up and coming, you know what I'm saying? We respect independence, up and coming entrepreneurs, you know what I'm saying? We respect the mainstream, but mainstream is the upper level. We focus where we get that from, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button. Hey, no fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness. Anything you say can and will be used against you. RDP vlog, we out.
That's God.